Welcome to the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. We are your hosts, Cassie and Chelsea. I'm Cassie, a single mom living with a chronic illness who is extremely passionate about living a full and happy life.
And I'm Chelsea, a mindset coach that has a passion for helping people learn to put themselves first and be the best version of themselves each and every day.
We came together to create Spoonies Unite, an uplifting community that offers resources, guidance, and support so you can live your best life while giving you the space to be yourself, be heard, and feel understood. We hope that by providing education from experts, we help Spoonies and their loved ones thrive.
This show is not only for those who live with a chronic illness, but their friends, family, spouses, and just anyone else existing on the earth. Our goal is to normalizing having a chronic illness by sharing the real stories with real people and show the world how relatable those everyday struggles can be. There's a little something in here for everyone.
And of course, thank you to our patrons for your continued support making this possible. If you love our show and want to get some extra goodies, go to patreon.com/TheRealSpooniesUnite. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. Today, Cassie and I are talking about what to give to a Spoonie when they are needing some support. So Cassie, I know that you've had your experience, just like every other Spoonie, every other individual with chronic illness, of having some down in the dark days. And so we today really just want to kind of give ideas of things that you can share with the Spoonie, tell the Spoonie, just to help them feel a little bit better. So Cassie, would you kind of go over what it is what you want when you are feeling down in the dumps?
So firstly, I would say that we really just want to be validated. That is probably the number one thing. We just want to feel like we are heard, feel understood. We don't always want to be fixed. We are not always looking for a solution. We just want to vent and talk sometimes and just sort of be miserable. And often that's hard for someone to just hold the space for us to just be ourselves and just let us be us and just love us for us. I've been fortunate that I do have people in my inner circle now who are great at that. They just I'll call them up and say, I'm having a hard day. I don't feel very good. Or they'll call me and I respond that way. And they just say, that sucks. I'm so sorry. And that's kind of it. And as I said, we're not always trying to be fixed. And so we also know that you are trying to be caring and loving with your suggestions, like how kale smoothies can fix everything. Or that, have you tried yoga? Have you tried meditating? Have you tried this? Have you tried the paleo diet? Have you tried that? And I am really good at being able to understand that you're coming from a loving and compassionate place, that you want to help me. And it feels good to be able to offer someone help, especially if they take your advice. And so I am really good at knowing that you are giving me these suggestions because you want to be helpful. But please be patient with us and compassionate with us if we respond with a bit of apathy, or if we're a bit seeming hopeless, yeah, I've tried that. It didn't work. Yeah, I did yoga. It didn't work. Yeah, I meditated and I'm still in pain. Yeah, I freaking drank all the kale smoothies and they made me shit my pants. So, just be patient with us if we're not as appreciative of your suggestions when you give them. So we may have tried all the things and it may not have worked. Now, I do also understand that perhaps it could work in the future, yes, but still just be patient with us if we've tried it and we're saying it doesn't work. Because chances are that we have tried it. A lot of us out there really do put a lot of effort into finding something that's going to help us and finding something that's going to work, and have tried a bunch of stuff. I have tried some weird shit out there. Let me tell you, we'll probably do an episode about it at some point. So you name it, I've probably tried it. I try to be really open-minded and compassionate, and I know that you're trying to help, but just for you to know that we're not always looking for a solution. And so sometimes it's better if you can just say, that sucks. I'm sorry. I feel for you, and leave it at that. Don't suggest the kale smoothie. Also, medication may not solve everything either. So if you are on perhaps a more natural route and someone's saying, oh, maybe you need to be trying medications, or maybe you should get this surgery or something, we also know that that may not be the thing that helps. So just be conscious of the suggestions that you're offering, be thoughtful, and don't be offended if we say we've tried it, and don't have your feelings hurt. We're not trying to hurt your feelings. We know that you're coming from a place of love and thoughtfulness. One of the other really great things that you can do to help your Spoonie friend who is having a tough time is, although it may be really difficult for you, I totally understand how difficult this could be, but try to go with the flow of when we feel good or when we don't feel good. It might be really hard, but don't treat us like a fragile flower if we're feeling good, and don't treat us like we're capable of everything when we're not feeling well. I know that that's got to be really hard, and us as the Spoonie, it's our job to speak up to you and tell you when we do feel good or when we don't feel good. But that's really important. I have found that some of the deepest relationships and connections that I have are with my friends and loved ones who, when I feel good, they don't look at me like a broken flower. They don't treat me fragilely. They're not afraid to touch me. They're not afraid to, ask me if I want to go do something. When people are afraid of me in a way when I feel good, that makes me feel really upset, and I don't quite know how to, it's just a not fun dynamic. Then again, if I don't feel well, please don't expect me to go and hike, freaking Mount Everest or go kayaking along a white water rafting situation, because that's not going to fucking happen. So if I don't feel good, please don't be disappointed if I can't do things. And again, just holding the space for me to be me. And I know that it's really hard, again, to just go with the flow with someone, but that's usually what we really need. And we understand that it can be a difficult ride to be on that roller coaster, but being relaxed and laid back and allowing us to just feel how we feel in the moment is extraordinarily helpful for us. And also remember that we too are on that roller coaster, and it can be frustrating for us, and we can feel embarrassed about it, and we feel ashamed and guilty. And so when you're feeling frustrated, we also feel frustrated. But the more that one can be laid back and sort of just see you for you in the moment, that's going to be really helpful for both aspects of the relationship, whether it's friendship, family, romantic. So those would be some of my top tips on how to help us as a Spoonie. And, I would also say just checking in really means a lot. I was asked on a different episode, do I get annoyed when someone's asking how I'm doing? I really don't. I am only sometimes annoyed or not annoyed, but I feel guilty if I'm asked when I'm worried about you. If I'm asking you how you're doing and you try to ask me how I'm doing, then I'm no, this isn't about me. This is about you. I want it to be about you. But otherwise, just checking in and sending a text, I'm thinking of you, or I care about you. How are you today? Because sometimes we want to wallow in our, victim mode a little bit and be no one wants to talk to me. I'm so miserable to be around. And so you just being I'm still here is helpful. And don't let us be a victim or wallow too much.
I really liked how you said just kind of holding space, because I think that's important just for people in general. And I know I am someone I'm a fixer. I like to fix things. So I'm the person that when someone's I don't feel good, the first instinct I have is, well, how did you sleep? Can you fix this? Could you try this? That's my first instinct. And I've definitely had to really try to rein that in, because I know it's not necessarily helpful, because from my personal experience, not necessarily with the chronic illness, but when I'm feeling really anxious, I don't necessarily want someone to fix everything for me. I know that happens a lot when I'm sharing with my fiance of yeah, I'm feeling really stressed about X, Y, or Z. And his answer almost always is to reassure me. He's it's going to be all right. And I'm I know it's going to be all right. I'm not really concerned about what I'm stressing about, but for whatever reason, I'm still feeling anxiety about it. Even if consciously I'm like, yeah, everything's okay. I'm still having those feelings. So sometimes just to be acknowledged of like, yeah, that's how you feel. I'm sorry. Like, is there anything I can do? That stuff can go really, really far. And I know whenever I'm asked, like, is there anything I can do to help you? I'm not very good at communicating what I do need. I'm trying to be a lot better about it. But a lot of times my answer in my head is if someone's like, well, what can I do to help you? I'm just like, there's nothing you can, like, it's fine. Like, I'll handle it by myself. Or there's this part of me in the back of my head that's like, well, I do want like X, Y, or Z, but I want you just to know that that's what I need from you. And people are not mind readers in any aspect. So if there is something that you need from someone when you are feeling down and you're just in a dark place, make sure that you're communicating that to people. Like if you just need someone to come and give you a hug, tell them that. If you like it, if like they were to do something like kind of extra special for you, like get you flowers or like bring you your favorite tea or your favorite food, like something like that, then make sure you tell them that, because then your friends, your loved ones can't help support you in the way that you need if they don't know what it is you need in the first place. So I think that kind of going and checking in with yourself of like, well, have I communicated what I need in these moments can be really important to be able to give space for the people in your life to give you the support that they need. And if you are a Spoonie supporter listening to this, trying to figure out, well, how can I better be there for my friend, my loved one, my partner? I mean, ask them, like, okay, when you're feeling really bad or you're having this type of a flare, these symptoms, what do you need from me? How can I help you? And really open that line of communication. Like that, I think that would mean a lot to the loved one in your life. And so, yeah, that's like hold space for people.
Absolutely. And that made me think of two things, actually, Chelsea. So the first one is we have a friend who gets migraines, and she knows that when she gets a migraine, she needs to drink a Dr. Pepper, eat a cheeseburger, and like have the lights off pretty much. And so her fiance knows that because she's been like, this is what I need. And so if she's like, I have a migraine, he gets a Dr. Pepper, cheeseburger, if he's there, of course, turns the lights off and kind of like leaves her be. And they just like know that that's what she needs, and there's no judgment. And that's his way of showing love to her and compassion in that moment. But she was able to voice what she needs. So it can be a really tangible tip like that. Or it could be, I suppose that would be interesting if like my stepdad asked me what I needed when I don't feel good, because I think I would respond like, I need you to not know because I worry about you worrying about me. And so like, I need you to just not ask me how I'm feeling, and I'll just tell you if I'm not feeling great, or just like leave it be. And
maybe that's the conversation you have to say is like, I know you care, but this is not something I want to talk about within our relationship.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay too. Exactly. Like you may not want to tell people how you're feeling. We've discussed that in previous episodes, that you can choose how you want to respond when someone says, how are you? And it might be that you want to hide that part of yourself in a relationship. Maybe it's a work relationship, family member, whatever. It may be better protection for you to just be like, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. But going into the more open communication, because that's what we're trying to advocate a little bit for right now in the relationships that you feel safe with. But there was one, as long as you feel like you want to express yourself, you don't have to. But Chelsea, there was one time actually like several months ago that Chelsea got a really bad cold and had like full body aches, especially like in her back. And she texted me and was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, she felt like shit. So she texted me and she's like, I've been tired all day. My back is hurting so much with these full body aches. And it really made me think, wow, this is what you're living with like every day. And that meant so much to me, because I was like, yeah, dude, thank you for thinking of me, like, and all of us Spoonies out there. So as a Spoonie supporter, if there are moments that you can be conscious, mindful, or thoughtful of when there are times that perhaps you're not feeling 100%, and you can reach out to your Spoonie friend or loved one and kind of say like, I haven't been feeling well and it makes me think of how you don't feel well. And I just was thinking of you. That means a lot too. And that reminds me that my mother-in-law was having a really hard time with some tooth pain, actually around the same time that you were struggling with that cold, Chelsea. And she texted me and she's like, I've been in pain for days. It's so exhausting. And she's like, I can only imagine how tired you must feel from just living in chronic pain. And I just was like, yeah, it fucking sucks, but then I was like, but I really feel for you right now because you're in pain. And so just those little moments of when you can be mindful or conscious. And if you do think those things every now and then, like say it to your Spoonie, because for us, any type of feeling that we can be understood is welcome. And again, like as the Spoonie, don't judge, if they're like, I have a cold and it sucks and I feel for you, like, don't be like, you don't even know. Okay. You need to be like, how wonderful that this person has thought of me, like yeah. So I'm all about
appreciating what you go through.
Exactly.
I know every time that I get sick, I always think that like, yeah, I feel like crap depending on the cold, like there's body aches, like you're tired, pain. I mean, various things. You have to kind of think about like, well, when can I take more medication? Am I going to have the energy to get through X, Y, and Z? Do I need to put something, I have to reschedule something? I mean, there's a lot more thinking about just your day and how you feel. And I know like when I get sick as someone that doesn't have a chronic illness, when I get sick, I know that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, like with that cold that I had in January, which was not fun. It only lasted for it was really bad for like maybe a week. Not even. It was probably only like a few days where I really felt awful. And then I started feeling a little bit better. But within 2 weeks, I mean, I felt my normal. So I think I still had a cough, but besides that, I was back to normal. And so just kind of having those moments where I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't feel good now, but I know this is going to go away in a few weeks. And like, I know for you, Cassie, like, yeah, I may have felt similar to you on maybe even one of your better days still. But like for you, there's not really a light at the end of the tunnel in the same way as, oh, I'm going to get over this cold. And so I think just being able to kind of for a moment sit there and be like, there are people out there that I care about that feel like this or worse every day. And they don't know when or if they're going to start feeling a little bit better. I think that really puts it in perspective of just kind of like what it is to have a chronic illness and not just like get the flu once in a while.
Yeah, which kind of just generalizes like you don't know unless you've walked a day in someone's shoes or whatever, but you can definitely like wrap your mind around it. Because I know that I've had conversations with loved ones who have dismissed a lot of my feelings. And I've just said, well, can we just agree to disagree because you've just never experienced what this is like. And they can't quite have that like empathy to imagine what it's like. So, and then to sort of like wrap up too, I just wanted to mention again that I really liked what Chelsea said. Like sometimes you may not want to be like around anybody. And so as the Spoonie supporter, if we say to you, I just want some alone time, I'm just trying to like get through this right now. It's not about you. Don't be offended or anything. Again, it's more about just holding space for us to be ourselves, because there are times that you're just in so much pain and you're struggling just within yourself to like get through that hour or that evening, and just being alone, doing whatever it is that you have to do to get through might be the best thing. And so as the Spoonie loved one or supporter, again, that just goes into sometimes you have to just go with the flow and just know that we as the Spoonies really appreciate you. And we thank you for when you do let us be us. And we know it can be hard. It's hard to watch someone suffering. It's hard not to be able to do anything to help. I know that as a mother, I'm always trying to like fix everything when something's wrong with my son. And I am really guilty of that lately. I just keep trying to like fix everything. And I really have to make a very conscious effort of like, I can't fix everything. And actually it drives me nuts sometimes when everyone's trying to fix everything with me. So why am I doing it? So we're all a work in progress. Open communication when you feel safe and comfortable to do so. And yeah, just love us for us. Let us be us.
Well, we hope that Spoonies and Spoonie supporters found a little bit of helpful information, some tips of how to have conversations, ask what you need, and just ways that you can really be there for the Spoonies in your life. We would love to hear from you about things that maybe you found that you need, or ways that you like to kind of express that care and that understanding to the Spoonies in your life. So feel free to share that on social media. You can find us at The Real Spoonies Unite on Instagram. And we would love to just hear your take and your ideas. And if you took something away from this episode, we'd love to hear about it.
Always. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please write us a review to help us reach more people like you.
If you'd like to connect with Cassie and I, you can find us on Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite. You can also join our private Facebook community, Spoonies Unite, or you can visit our website, therealspooniesunite.com, for all sorts of resources and to stay up to date with our current projects. And don't worry, you can find all of these links in the show notes below.
Thank you to our wonderful Spoonie patrons for all your support, and you can become one too. That's right. All you have to do is go on over to patreon.com/therealspooniesunite, and you can get all sorts of extra goodies like videos of our episodes and more.
Any support is greatly appreciated. It helps enable us to create more content for all of you, as well as make this podcast sound better and better. Thanks for listening. We can't wait to be back in your ears soon.